Shalom, family. Shalom. Going to be having a topic of conversation on today. Very important topic of conversation on today about tithes, about tithing. All right, I'm going to get into this is just an introduction. I'm gonna get into the next 2 days. I'm going to be having a conversation that we're going to deal with about tithing. Okay. My approach from it is going to deal with from the priesthood perspective. I'm not going to deal with it from the many other perspectives of what's right, what's wrong, all that. I think that taking that angle and that perspective. So I guess you decided today to start this. Yeah, Pop, what's going on? What's going on, man? Y'all get ready. We 1 week away from James 1:1, so it's gonna be fire. James 1:1 is gonna be fire. I haven't even delved into this topic. I just feel as though it's so elementary. I kind of leave that to everybody else to fight about those type of things. And so I'm going to get into it. I'm going to deal with it from this perspective of dealing with this tithe thing. And so let's deal with it. First of all, I think we have to use, when we deal with the text, we are spiritual people. The Bible is also spiritual, but the Bible is also practical, especially to many of those of us who deal with Hebraic thought and Hebraic culture. I think it's very important that we understand the perspectives of dealing with those. What's going on, Brother Jonathan Brooks? Shalom. Peace to everyone in chat. To deal with things historically and understand different purposes of the tribes and what certain things, what they were doing. You wouldn't find those of Judah dealing with too many things in the temple. When it come down to worship, you're not going to find too many other tribes when it come down to leading in worship before the battle to be taking the place of Judah. So it's important in the roles and things in which each tribe played culturally and historically for us to begin to understand the purpose and the intent. One thing we all have to understand is that especially from Hebraic thought, as well as being Hebrews, we have to understand that we're not in our land. That's one thing that we have to understand. But I'm also going to talk from a perspective in this introduction of those who are in the land today when it comes down to dealing with the tithing system and that thought. Let's get an understanding. Okay, the argument is tithing a physical monetary thing, as well as is tithing from the other perspective, is tithing a fruits and vegetables thing. And I think this is the argument when it comes down to dealing with the tithing system, even in today's time, which is the argument about. Some say, hey, it's a money thing. Others say it's fruits and vegetables. Okay, one thing we have to understand from a modern perspective, because we're living in 2019, we have to understand that even those in the scriptures, they didn't have a gas bill. They didn't have a light bill. They didn't have cars that ran on fuel. Okay, let's start out from that perspective first. The temple, okay, generally, okay, there was a temple around the clock. The temple was around the clock. It was open 24/7. The fire had to keep burning. So, of course, they were using some form of fuel or natural resource, not form of petroleum and what we would have in today's time. So, therefore, they didn't have a Georgia Power or a Florida gas lighting bill coming every month. Okay, so that's another understanding we have to understand in dealing with in the modern era versus the ancient time. It's the same thing even when dealing with in antiquity, when we deal with certain things as far as how we prepared food, and it's a whole different factor in the matter in today's time. Not only that, but even in today's time, those who are in Israel today, who are in the temples, not only in the temples today, but those who are in America, within the temples in America, you're not going to find people coming to the temple presenting fruits and vegetables unless it's for the less fortunate and the homeless. People understand what it takes in today's age to function and live. Okay, that's number one. Not only that is we have to understand too is that during this time, there was what was understood to be priests, okay? And there was also understood to be those of the line of Aaron or Levitical priests, all right? And we'll get into that. That's a whole other conversation. But let's deal with it from the priestly perspective, okay? In that day and age, the priests, the Levitical priests, were set aside. They didn't have any inheritance when it came down to land. We know that Israel were agricultural people, okay? Which means that they grew their own crops, they planted, they fed their own hogs, they fed their own chickens, they fed their own cows, they fed all of these different things that would maintain their existence for survival, all right? The priests were not afforded that. The priests could not, they weren't given a land of inheritance, okay? Second of all, let's get an understanding, is that prophetically, we understood that the children of Israel would be scattered into the four corners of the earth, all right? We know prophetically that the children of Israel would lose their heritage or forget their heritage or it be taken away from them. The third thing is this. We cannot emphatically say which one of you are Levitical priests. Okay, so the Father in his wisdom understands the scattering taking place. Therefore, if the gospel is going to go forth and nobody knows they're a priest, how is the gospel going to go forward unless there's something implemented where we all can become priests and we all can preach and teach within the temple or outside of the temple. This is the reason why it was so important for John and Yeshua or Hamashiach to be able to do what they had to do. For John to baptize him and they go through the process to open up the door for all of us to have the opportunity to be priests and preach the gospel into the four corners of the earth. Okay, it wasn't like somebody would just say, hey, okay, we're going to put all the Levitical priests and we're going to send them all to Haiti. No, that's not how it went. When the scattering took place, all the tribes were mixed and scattered and went everywhere throughout the four corners of the earth. So it's very important for us to understand this. Okay, it's a bigger picture than we sitting here saying, oh, well, it's just fruits and vegetables. No, for that day and age, okay, the reason why the fruits and vegetables was presented because if the priests don't have a land to crop, a land to set up agriculture, and they're in the temple 24/7 working, they got to be able to eat. They have to be able to eat, okay? They have to be able to eat. All right. And we're going to look here. We're going to look here really quick. And I'm going to, because I'm not going to be on here long again. This is going to be a 2-3 point part lesson that I'm going to do. And again, it's needed for today and age for us to understand in the time in which we're living in. Okay. Nowadays, the priests got jobs. Okay. Let's deal with it from that perspective. Nowadays, every Israelite working. Every Israelite paying taxes. So therefore, I cannot take your fruits and vegetables because I got to work. I got to provide for my family. All right. Here's the thing. If you don't want the priest to be monetary, then what you have to do is, then you have to get together as a congregation and make sure that the priest do what he did in antiquity. Meaning he stayed in the temple. He ain't going nobody's job. That means you take care of his food, his meals. You take care of his family. See, this one. See, when we start getting into these type of conversations, let's get into all the way into the conversation. And let's go all the way back to antiquity and do exactly what they did. Don't just sit up here and try to say, hey, you know what? Hey, don't give no monetary nothing to the temple. Because even back then, they understood that there was taxes that had to be paid. Whether they took care of that tax for the priest too. The taxes they were paying to the Romans, they had to take care of the priests too. So let's get on to it. We're going to go if we're going to deal with this, let's not just stop in fruits and vegetables, whether it's fruits and vegetables is monetary. Let's do this. Let's go all the way back to antiquity, and everybody that feels as though they're a priest, and let's deal with this. Because if you are a priest, or if you in modern, let's deal with modern terms. If you're a teacher or a moray, or feel as though you're a teacher or a moray, don't just say, I'm not a teacher, but yet you teaching folks. Okay, let's get that understood. It's no longer where you can run around here and say, well, I'm not a teacher. I'm not a teacher. I'm not a pastor. I'm any of that. But you're trying to teach people. Don't you understand that during the time of antiquity, during the priesthood, the Levites, they were responsible for teaching the people? So you can't say you ain't no minister. You can't say you ain't no priest. If you got a Facebook Live and you open up the book and you try to teach somebody, you're saying that you're a priest, whether you want to throw a title on it or not. That's what you're saying. So you can't run from that, okay? You can't run from that. If you're not a priest, if you're not a teacher, if you're not a moray, then close the Facebook Live and go sit down somewhere. But if you're standing there in front of the people and you're giving them word and you're trying to guide them, then you're doing the job of the priest, okay? So let's get this understood. If you're going to go back to dealing with things in ancient times, whether you want to bring fruits and vegetables in the modern day, and you want to take your fruits and vegetables and pay bills with it, or attempt to pay a bill with it, then why don't you do this? Let's go back to taking care of the priest the way they took care of the priest then. So everybody that says they're a teacher, then that priest needs to go and not be working on nobody's job. He need to be in the church or the temple or the synagogue, the assembly, whatever you want to call it. He need to be in there every single day. He need to make sure the fire is lit. He shouldn't have to worry about where his next meal going to come from. He shouldn't have to worry about any of these things, okay? Because if we're going to do exactly what the priest did, and people want to say it's fruits and vegetables, listen, the priest is responsible for making sure the fire stay burning. So therefore, if the fire stay burning, you got to provide for that priest, okay? And those of y'all just not joining, I hope you hear the whole conclusion of the matter and don't just come in on the middle point of what I just said, okay? Let's get an understanding of this. In the modern day times, nobody is taking fruits and vegetables to keep no lights on. Nobody is taking fruits and vegetables, okay? Let me tell you something. Half of y'all don't even want to even buy the priest a sandwich. Half of y'all don't even want to buy the moray, the teacher, the pastor. Y'all don't even want to buy him a sandwich or bring him something to drink. He asks you to bring him something to drink, you suck in your teeth. You suck in your teeth. So we need to really understand something. The priests during that time, their responsibility was to take care of the temple. Okay, they weren't given land. They weren't given inheritance of that to that magnitude like everybody else got their portions. Okay, so the Most High said, "Listen, God says that I need to make sure that somebody's in the temple 24/7, making sure they're handling my business. Meanwhile, if you handle my business, I'm going to handle your business." Now, all of us have been given an opportunity through Christ, through Hamashiach. We've all been given an opportunity to be priests, okay? To be priests. Now, let's deal with this here, all right? Now, let's look at Numbers chapter number 18 and verse number 1, all right? Numbers chapter 18. What's going on, Rabbi Stansberry? Numbers 18 and 1, all right? And I'm only going to read a couple scriptures here, and then I'm going to get off, and I'll come back tomorrow and do another teaching, and the third day and do another teaching. We're going to walk it down all the way so we can get a thorough understanding of really what's going on and stop arguing about whether it's money or if it's fruits and vegetables. None of y'all are living in antiquity, nor are we in our land, nor are we in the temple, okay? All right, so let's get an understanding of that. We're not in the land, okay? Therefore, let me tell you something. We still dealing with governmental issues today in America, all right, that fight against us even keeping our feast days and all this type of stuff. America stay working 24/7, 7 days a week. They don't care nothing about no feast. At least in Israel today, When it's time for Pentecost, they shut the city down. When it's time for Passover, they shut the city down. When it's time for Tabernacle, they shut the city down. All this stuff, there's no arguing with your supervisor or with the company, or you don't have to worry about putting in no days off. Okay, when you trying to deal with these type of things, dealing with biblical feast days, you don't have to deal with that. They in the land, they don't have to deal with those things. But yet we got people today in America trying to make arguments about whether something is monetary. You know doggone well common sense should tell you that if you're meeting somewhere, okay, where you're fellowshipping, because half of y'all always, well, we need a place to go. I don't have a place to fellowship. I don't want to go back to the church. I don't have no place to fellowship. As soon as somebody establishes a fellowship and establish a place, say, okay, we're going to meet here. You know what y'all do? As soon as they say, hey, listen, man, we're going to be here, but it's going to cost about $400 a month, $500 a month. That's in the rent. The light bill is about $175 a month. Then y'all start complaining. The very people that complain about ain't no place to fellowship, no place to worship, are the very same people when it come down. You know what? If you bring some fruits and vegetables to me, I'm going to tell you, listen, let's put the light bill in your name. Let's put that rent in your name. And you go to the rent office, and you go to the light bill and the gas bill people, and you take fruits and vegetables to them. I'm not going down there taking no fruits and vegetables to them people. They're going to look at you like you crazy. You're going to embarrass the Most High, and you're going to embarrass yourself, okay? Matter of fact, why don't you try doing this? Why don't you try going to Israel right now and go in their temples, because they got lights in their temple in Israel. They got gas in their temple in Israel. They paying the government their fees too. Why don't you go into Israel right now and you take some fruits and vegetables to the priest right now and watch him look? Matter of fact, you ain't even gotta go. Go to your local synagogue, okay? You ain't even gotta go to Israel. Go to your local synagogue in your city, because every city got a local synagogue. And why don't you take the priest some fruits and vegetables and see how he look at you? See how he look at you. We gotta use common sense, man. This thing is not hard. You know you got bills, man, okay? That's what it is. All right, but we'll sit here and listen to people who ain't fellowshipping nowhere, telling us what we need to be doing. That don't make no sense. You listen to people who not fellowshipping nowhere, trying to tell you what you need to do and what tithing is and all that. Man, listen, we know people hustle. It's folks that ain't fellowshipping nowhere hustling. It ain't just in the synagogue and in the temple and the church that people hustling. We know this automatically. People are hustling. But at the end of the day, if you know doggone well in the common day, matter of fact, hold on. You can't even call your light bill company and tell them you paying them with fruits and vegetables. Why don't you try that? No, you won't try that, but you'll try that, or you'll argue to pass it up and down. And then half of y'all that don't believe in tithe and offering, because this ain't pushing no tithe and offering tithe on you. Half of y'all that don't even believe in tithe, you still rob the Most High in your offering. So it's a lose-lose. It's a lose-lose. It's a lose-lose. I don't believe in tithes. I believe in offerings. And yet you give $2. Now that ain't something, that's not all you had. Let's get an understanding. Because in the scriptures, you see people, that's all they had. No, we talking about some of y'all joking making $50,000, $60,000 a year. And then the lights get turned off, or they gotta close the door of the assembly, and y'all talk about what pastor did with all the money. Okay, I tell you what. Let's go into the books and see what you get. And the same folks that's complaining about why pastor closed the doors are the same folk in a whole year gave $10. Man, get out of here, man. I don't even know why we even talking about this stuff, man. I don't know why we talking about this stuff. Because the ones who complaining is not contributing anyway. They don't need to contribute fruits and vegetables. Let me say that. The ones that are complaining the most about anything, they aren't even contributing what they say they believe. They say they believe that tithe is fruits and vegetables. When the last time you gave a fruit? When the last time you gave a banana? When the last time you gave some okra? When the last time you gave some cabbage? Okay? When the last time? When was the last time, man? It don't make no sense. Brother Elijah, I definitely agree with you, man. I definitely agree with you, Moray. And this is the thing, all I'm saying is this. Let's use common sense in the day in which we live. Okay? When we get back in the land, that's a whole nother story. But in the land in which you live, you know that you can't function like that. That's all I'm saying. Now, again, there's people who over-abuse it and all that stuff. But let's use common sense in which the land in which we live. We cannot function like that. Y'all know that it costs to have feast days. Y'all know it costs to have feast days. There are people complaining about contributing to feasts. Like this stuff, let's forget about tithes and offerings, okay? There are people, when you have Passover, there's people complaining about Passover. You say, hey, $25, and they complaining about Passover. You can't win. The priest can't win. The priest can't win at all. And then if the priest go by whatever budget you've given, if everybody only gave $5 and you only got $150 and you go and you say, okay, y'all, all we can do is we only have enough money to rent the place. We only have enough money to get a little ounce of lamb, and y'all complain. Well, this place ain't about worth nothing. I can't believe we didn't have enough lamb. Well, maybe you didn't give enough to help with the cost of it. See, the thing is, y'all want the priest to take care of y'all, but biblically, if you start going back to scripture, the way it really was during antiquity, the people took care of the priests. Let's be real about this. Them boys ain't had no land. They was in the temple all day. They had to do what the Most High say. Nowadays, y'all want the priest to take care of y'all. Y'all want the priest to call y'all phone. Y'all want the priest to answer y'all phone calls 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Y'all want the priest to do everything for y'all. Everything for y'all. Y'all want the priest to do everything for y'all, and yet y'all don't even call the priest and ask the priest how he doing. Y'all don't even text the priest and say how you doing. But yet you want the priest to be there for you. Come on, we got to stop this madness. The people are uninformed to really what's going on in the text. They are uninformed. And you listen to renegades and all kind of crazy people out here telling you something because half of y'all, it ain't in your heart to do nothing anyway. Let's be real about it. Half of y'all, it's not even in your heart to do anything. It's in your heart to do what you want to do. It's in your heart to go on vacation. It's in your heart to spend money on Jordans. It's in your heart to do all of this stuff. And yet, you want the Most High to bless you. You want the Most High to bless you. You want the Most High to bless you. You want the Most High to give you that house. You want the Most High to give you that car. You want the Most High to give you that spouse. You want the Most High to do all these things for you. And yet, the priest is sitting here about to go crazy because he don't want to not have the doors closed because he care more about you than you care about him. He care about making sure that you maintain a place of worship than you care about him. Then you care about him. All because you listen to some bootleg joker talking about, oh, your priest don't care about you. All the priest want to do is get your money. Man, let me tell you something. Here's the thing. All y'all priests on here, this what needs to happen. Let me tell y'all how we fix the problem. Here's what needs to happen. How about we do this? How about you open up the books to the people? How about you say, listen, I want all y'all to come and sit down and look at all these bills. This is what I want you to do. When you talk about my bills, we're talking about the church, the assembly. Let's look at how much the gas bill is right here. Let's see how much the water bill is right here. Let's see how much y'all want to feed the homeless, but y'all don't want to give to that either. Okay, you want to feed the homeless, but you don't want to give to that either. Okay, let's look at the insurance that you gotta have here. Okay, you want to make sure ain't nobody stealing your stuff, so you gotta have an alarm on the congregation. Let's look and see how much that costs. Let's look and see how much, if you're renting every month, how much that is, because you don't want to be in the hood. You want to be in a nice place because you want to be able to say the place where you go at, where you worship at is nice. So that's going to cost you about $1,000. Let's line all of this stuff up and let's look at it. And let's see, you want to have feast days, okay? You want to have feast days. You want to be a part of the feast. You want to make sure you have every feast day in the book. So let's deal with that too. All of these bills. And then let me show you how much you gave. Let me show every individual person. Let's see how much you gave and let's line it up to the bills. But you say, I'm taking your money. You say, I'm taking your money. You say the priest taking your money. And yet what you gave don't even cover 3 bills. Come on, man, that doesn't make no sense.
Daddy?
Go sit down, son. Go sit down. Ain't nobody taking your money. The only people taking your money is the people that we owe. And then it's you walk right up in there and you say, you know what, man, listen. At the end of the day, the Bible is spiritual and it's practical. The problem is y'all know more, y'all think y'all know more about the spiritual than y'all have an understanding of the practical. But guess what you understand? You understand the practicalities of your bills, but you don't understand the practice. See, here's the difference between Israel today and Israel back then. Israel today back then had more fear in the Most High and they respected their leaders. Israel today respect more of what people telling them than actually the people who serving them. That's the problem. That is the problem. That is the problem of the mess that that's going on today. Israel respect more what somebody's saying that's tickling their ear than anybody is. Because as soon as you lay the bill out, you lay everything out. Oh, I can't believe this. Oh, man. So when I lay all of this out, show me where I'm taking your money. Show me where the pastor taking your money. After you lay out all the bills that the church got, show me how I have any matter of fact, let me tell you something. I'm robbing from my house to make sure y'all got a place to worship. Most of the pastors and mores, they robbing their own house. They giving more than y'all giving. Come on. This is what I'm trying to tell y'all, man. But y'all don't get this. You don't get this, man. You don't get it. Because all you want to do is listen. See, this is what I'm talking about. See what Israel do? See what Israel do? Hey, look, I want y'all to look at the message on here. LOL, somebody messing up the church money. He came right in, looked at the topic, and automatically assumed. Now, this is Israel, the main ones that say, listen to the whole conclusion of the matter. And then all of a sudden, Israel jumping and start throwing comments about somebody trying to take somebody's money or the church money getting messed up. Now, yeah, you're right. The church money is not getting messed up, Ak. Okay, let's get something understood. The problem is that people in Israel are complaining and not even helping the situation with having an assembly to worship at. This is the problem with Israel going on today. This is the problem. This is what I'm talking about. And these are the folks y'all listen to. These are the folk that have y'all ear. Okay? These are the folk that have y'all ear. So here's the thing, man. Okay? Because I probably don't even fellowship nowhere anyway, but on Facebook and YouTube. All right? Let's get that straight. All right? Let's make sure we start holding folk accountable and asking them where they fellowship at. Where they fellowship at. Okay? Where they fellowship at. And they ain't got no place to fellowship. You shouldn't even be listening to these folks. Okay? So let's deal with this. And I'm about to get off of here. Okay, let's read Numbers chapter number 18 and 1. Numbers 18 and 1. Look what it says. Then the Lord said, or then Elohim said to Aaron, behold, I myself have taken your brethren, the Levites, from among the children of Israel. They are a gift to you, Aaron, given by the Lord to do the work of the tabernacle of meeting. They're taking, I'm reading Numbers 18 and 1, and I just read verse 6. Okay, verse 6. All right, I'm not going to argue with you, okay? We could talk about it another time, all right? We're dealing with a subject, we're going to stay on that. We're not getting off of that, all right? So let's maintain order, all right? Let's deal with this, man. All right, let's look at it. Here's what it says right here. Verse number 21. It says, behold, I have given the children of Levi all the tithes in Israel as an inheritance in return for the work which they perform, the work of the tabernacle of meeting. Now, see, this is the thing right here. Look at what it says right here. It says why the Levites were set aside, okay, for the purpose. All right, they didn't get no inheritance, okay, but their purpose was to do the duty of Yah in the temple, okay. So let's get an understanding here. All right. So let's read. Let's keep reading here. We're going to jump down to Numbers verse number 2. We're going to jump over to Numbers 18 and 20. Look what it says. Then the Lord said to Aaron, okay. Then the Lord said to Aaron, you shall have no inheritance in their land, nor shall you have any portion among them. I am your portion and your inheritance among the children of Israel. So he's telling the Levites, listen, your portion is me. You're going to dedicate yourself wholeheartedly to me. You're going to make sure the temple is maintained, and your portion is going to be the temple, and I'm going to have a way of provision for you, okay, while you're in the temple, all right, working. So don't worry about, because I didn't give you a land of inheritance, okay, because I didn't give you a land of inheritance, all right. So let's keep rolling here, all right. So it says, right, let's look at this. So the tithe and the produce of the children of Israel was to be offered to the priests. See that? The tithe of the produce, because they had to eat, they had to have food, because we understand that Israel are agricultural people, okay? They're agricultural people. So the Most High say, listen, while y'all out there farming and doing all kind of agricultural things, all right, make sure you keep in mind your duty is going to be providing for the people that do my will, okay? That take care of my business, because they can't have a portion, they can't crop, they can't farm, they can't do any of that, okay? So let's keep reading here. Look what it says. And I'm going to be done, and I'm going to come back tomorrow, and we're going to do another. All right, we're going to get into some more scripts. All right, but look what it says right here in Hebrews chapter number Hebrews 7 and 5. Look at what it says. And indeed, those who are of the sons of Levi, who receive the priesthood, have a commandment to receive tithes. Now, at this particular time, you have to understand something. Now, we all have an opportunity to be priests, to be able to teach, the gospel, all right, and to make sure that we maintain, all right, the Most High and do His will of what He's told us to do, all right. But let's keep reading. Look what it says. It says to receive tithe from the peoples according to the law that is from their brethren. According to the law that is from their brethren. Why? Because this goes back to Numbers and what he was saying about the portion of the people. He commanded the people to give a portion to the Levites, okay, to make sure they do the will of the Father, all right? And so we're going to get into some more on tomorrow, all right? I'm going to read one more, Numbers chapter number 18 and 8. Numbers 18 and 8. And the Lord spake unto Aaron, here I myself have given you charge of my heave offering, all the holy gifts of the children of Israel. So when you read Numbers 18, 25 through 32, it seems to suggest tithes were offered to non-priesthood Levites. All right. But we also understand that non-priest Levites cannot receive the tithe of the children of Israel unless the Levite priest was present. So we're going to get into that tomorrow too, dealing with those who were also assisting priests, all right, as well as those who had the priesthood, all right. So you had those who would assist the priest, but they were not actually of the priesthood, all right. They themselves who assist was also ones who were found favor with the Most High to be able to receive, but yet they couldn't do it without the priest there of the Levite bloodline to make sure that they were held accountable with that and wasn't robbing the people. All right. So we'll get into that tomorrow. Man, I hope this helped y'all real quick as an introduction, and we're going to get into it and make sure that we give a thorough understanding historically of what's going on in the text and understanding the modern day, man. Understand within the modern day that there are things, especially if you fellowship somewhere and there's a building, I don't care who it is, whether you're a camp, because camps have buildings too and they got bills, or whether you are a balanced brew, all right, that have a place of fellowship, they have bills too. Okay, even now there are many libraries that charge you to come in, so you still, if it's $50, you still got to provide and pay $50 for that. Okay, so therefore, at the end of the day, we live in a monetary system. The same way there was a monetary system then in ancient Israel, as well as the time of the Roman captivity. They had to pay tithes. They had to pay taxes, okay, during that time as well. They still had an obligation to pay to a system. So therefore, if you got lights, you got water, you got whatever, you have a building, there's still an obligation to pay to a system. All right. This is not going to change until Hamashiach come back. So at the end of the day, we have to understand principles, okay, in the practical sense, as well as principles in the spiritual sense and understanding of things in the day and age in which we live. All right. I say shalom to you all. And again, man, listen, we got to start making sure that we hold people accountable. All right. People shouldn't have no dog in the fight, or no opinions if they aren't fellowshipping nowhere. Okay. If they aren't fellowshipping nowhere, at the end of the day, I don't care if you don't fellowship anywhere, but yet you be a part of somebody's feast. At the end of the day, that person, where they had the feast at, because let's be real, it ain't too many of y'all having no feast days and no parks outside. All right. Let's get that correct. And if you do have a feast day in a park outside somewhere, majority of the city ordinance, if you got a speaker and a microphone set up in a park, you are required to pay a certain amount of fees for sound ordinances. So you still got to pay something at the end of the day. At the end of the day. You sure don't mind paying for that cell phone and that internet you on right now to try to tell somebody about they don't need a building to fellowship in. You sure paying AT&T, T-Mobile, somebody, DirecTV, Comcast. You don't have no problem with paying them. You pay them faithfully. Matter of fact, they get automatic draft out of your account. Automatic draft. You make sure your internet ain't turned off. But you'll pay tithes to that. You'll pay taxes every year. You sure ain't complaining about none of that. You sure got a TV. You don't mind paying $1,000 for a laptop. You sure don't mind that. You don't mind paying that grocery bill every 2 weeks, do you? You sure don't mind paying that gas, do you, to get around in? You sure don't mind paying for that gas card or that substation train. You make sure that happens every week, don't you? This is all I'm saying, man. All right? I never said you needed a building to read the Bible. That's not what I'm saying. You came in and you just start spilling stuff. You didn't even hear the whole conclusion of the matter. You didn't even go back from the beginning and listen to what was being taught and what was being said. You jumped right in and assumed something, all right, that you did. You jumped in and assumed. You heard a particular dialogue and conversation and automatically you thought I was something else than what you thought I was. And so now you want to drop bomb. Oh, it's like they hurt the church money and all this kind of stuff. This is the foolishness that's being said, man. This is the reason why you judge unrighteously. You can't be a Israelite and judge unrighteously. You can't be an Israelite telling other people to hear the whole conclusion of the matter and you don't hear the whole conclusion of the matter. That's hypocrisy. That's being a hypocrite. This is the reason why people laugh at us and don't take us serious. Because we jump in the situation and we don't know how to listen. All right? So that's all I'm saying. This is not a beat down on you. This is not a disrespect to you. And all I'm saying is, man, make sure that we understand. If we're going to lead, we have to lead properly. And we have to make sure that we follow the scriptures correctly. We can't assume anything when we jump into a lie because I've never seen you before. And I don't think you're a friend of mine on Facebook. Somebody might have shared it and you jumped right in and you saw the topic and you saw me going in the way I was going in and you automatically assume that I'm pushing and preaching tithing and taking people money or people not paying me or whatever it is. Don't do that. We got to make sure that we have a thorough understanding of what we're doing and what we're saying. And so we don't put off an image, all right, that's not representative of Yah. We have to make sure that our representation of Yah is thorough. All right, and give nobody no room to say anything against us wickedly. All right, we can't do that, man. We can't let our evil be good, our good be evil spoken of on no level, especially if you claim to be an Israelite. All right. So at the end of the day, man, I say shalom to you all. I'm gonna get off of here. Peace and blessing to everybody that tuned in. And man, just stay up, focus, stay up. I'm gonna come on tomorrow. We're gonna get into some more scripture. All I want is y'all to understand principles. Okay. All right. All I want y'all to do is understand principles. All All right. At the end of the day, man, shalom to you all. I'm not dealing with this. I'm not dealing with this. So that always happens, man. Every time I look around, when you turn around and you try to correct the brother, that's the problem. Israel is so prideful, they don't want to receive any form of correction at all. All right. And then they try to clean it up. No, you can't clean it up. We seen what you did. You jump straight in and you start acting a fool. That don't make no sense, man. We can't do that. All right. Blessings to you all, man. I'm going to get off of here, man. And I'll holler at y'all later. All right. Shalom.